What up, baby? It's your boy, Raider Will, and I am here with my boy, Vinny! What's going on, baby?
What's up? What's up?
Yo, guys, the Silver and Black Radio Podcast Network is putting out its strings. We are now talking football international. As you guys know, I've been a football coach, man. I've coached in Portugal, I've coached in Belgium, I've coached all over the world. Now I'm bringing in my player. I'm bringing in guys that are playing all over the world to give you guys the brutal truth of what it is to play in Europe, to play all over the world. And we're going to talk some NFL. We're going to talk a little bit of everything else. But first of all, man, I'm going to bring in my boy, Vinny. Vinny, break us down on your playing career, where you've played, what you've done, and where you're at now.
So Vincenzo. Everyone calls me Vinny. I'm 29. I just turned 29 last week. I've been playing for about 10 years, over 10 years at this point. I was playing professional soccer before that. I started in Austin. I played for the Austin Pirates. I played there for 2 years. Then I went to the first division in France, where I played for 1 season. I also got called up for the national team for the first time while I was playing in France. Then around COVID, I went to Isigan Tribes. It's where I met you as a coach. And after that, I played there for two full seasons. No, 1.5 season, because in the second season I went to Sweden to play there for the Karlskoga Wolves. That's the Division 1 in Sweden. I played there for a season. After that, I went back to Isigan initially to play with them that season. And then I got the offer to go to Limburg, also through you, because you transferred to Limburg as a coach. So I followed you there. And then I played there for 2 seasons. And in the middle of that second season, the entire team kind of broke down. You already left after the first season. They brought in a new DC, and it wasn't what it was supposed to be. We lost a lot of talented players after that first season, and also the entire environment and the manager of the team was not doing things right. Didn't pay players. Players were in horrible conditions living there. So in the middle of the season, that team completely stopped. All players left. I left for Germany. I went to go and play for the Cologne Crocodiles. I finished the season there, and now the year after, I only played 2 games after a serious injury that I had on my ankle. I have a big cartilage injury in my ankle, which I had surgery for by now. But it still hurts a lot. I am playing again, but again, I'm playing at a low level now in the second division in Belgium for a team that one of my friends created, and I'm kind of helping out with them building that team up from the ground. And I'm enjoying it, but like I said, it hurts my body a lot to keep pushing.
No,
So that's
absolutely,
about
man.
it.
So basically, Vincenzo's played in a lot of places, man. He's played in Germany, he's played in Switzerland, he's played in Belgium. He can tell you guys about the experiences of playing there, the things that you can see as a coach. And what he's telling you is that if you're come here, be prepared for it to take a toll on your body. This game is not something that you can just take and be like, hey, man, you know, it's a walk in the park. You get beat up. You got to make sure to take care of yourself, man. And out here, well, I'm not in Europe right now. I'm actually back in the States. But what I'm saying is when you go out there, you got to make sure that you take care of your P's and Q's. Everything is written down in your contract. All the stuff that we're going to bring into this podcast, is going to come into it. But for right now, man, what I wanted to do is just bring you guys into the fact that, hey, we've been there, we've done it. Like I said, I've been in Portugal, I've been in Belgium. I can bring you those aspects. We're going to bring in coaches. We're going to bring in players. We got a lot of players that we know that have played in all sorts of leagues. So guys, be prepared. I mean, like if you guys come over here, like he said, we met in Isagam. When I met Vinny, man, he was a young man, ready hard charger, loved the game, wanted to just grow and explode and go see the world and what it had to offer for it. And I still remember, man, you were a young wide receiver. And in Europe, you know, people think about the level of football. And let's be honest, the level of football in Europe, in certain leagues, Vinny, it's
It's very
yeah, it's about the equivalent of high school, really bad high school
and
game.
even then, depending on where you play, I would even consider it lower than high school sometimes.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of players that come over, you know, they get signed over on these contracts. They come over from the US. They have these expectations of teams over there, right? They have this thing where they think, oh, yeah, you know what? We're going to go over there and we're just going to get paid and it's going to be all great. Well,
Yep.
when you show up and sometimes you're in the locker room, right? Sometimes you end up in places where they don't really tell you you're going to end up. Now, there are some organizations, right, Vinny, that do take great care of you, that do say,
Definitely.
hey, man, like, if you come over here, we're going to take care of this, we're going to take care of that, and we're going to do things the right way. So let's not get it misconstrued where every single guy is like out there just, you know, whipping away at you like you're some sort of slave.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, like, you've had great experiences. You've
I've
had
had
bad
very good
experiences.
experiences. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, man, what we are telling you guys is we're going to give you guys the raw truth. We're not going to lie to you guys. We're going to give you guys our, you know, best opinions based on our information, the things that we've done. And then the guys that we're going to bring in, hey, they're going to do the same. They're going to keep it real. They're going to keep it 100. But like I told you guys, man, our journey started in Izagam. We started with the Izagam tribes, and we started there. I started as their defensive coordinator. It was my first time in Belgium, right? And I'm gonna tell you, man, I cannot complain about the way that they did it. When they told me, they said, Will, you're gonna come over here. We're gonna have an apartment for you. We're gonna have a house for you. And you're going to come in here and you're going to coach a bunch of guys that are raw, that are talented. They told me about you, Vinny. They told me how talented you were at wide receiver. And they were like, you know, he just needs somebody to find to push him and get better.
Yep.
And, you know, honestly, I go there, man, and I fly out there. And I remember the first time I flew out there was when I was a coach in Portugal. And I went out there for like 10 days. And bro, I thought it was crazy different, right? Because I go from like living in Portugal where like the housing is a little bit more rugged and like a little bit different. I'd be like, and that's where people don't know about houses in Europe, right? Like where you're at, yeah, where you're at, it looks super modern. Hey, I love the backgrounds, I love everything. But there's some houses, man, where you're like, bro, there's no hot water.
Yeah.
You
Depending
know, I'm
on
like,
which city you live in.
yeah. So that's kind of different. And I mean, like at the end of the day, you have to look at all those things. And you have to say, hey, you know, what am I willing to sacrifice?
Exactly.
And especially as an American coach, I'm going to tell you guys like this. As an American coach, we go over there and we have all these ideas, right? Like, bro, you go and you say, oh, yeah, I'm going to have all these guys that are just going to be like electrifying and they're going to be ready to work. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to put in this game plan that's sophisticated, everything like that. Well, that's kind of hard, bro, when you're only practicing what, twice a week?
Yeah, mostly twice a week. Yeah, most teams only practice like twice a week.
And how many hours are you doing, Vinny, at practice?
Maybe 2 hours. So in total, we're like 4 to 5 hours on the field a week.
Yeah.
Games not included.
Hey, and then when we look at that, right, Vinny, we say, hey, how much of that is spent in warm-ups? How much of that is spent with limited coaching, you know, and limited ability to grow?
Mm-hmm. There's a
right?
lot.
And that's the hard part, man. When you come over there, you have a lot to grow into, and the culture is totally different.
It
You know,
is.
people think about football here like as a way of life. Over there, it's a pastime.
It's a hobby. For
Right?
most, like for I would say from 90 to 95% of the people, it's a hobby. People go to work, and then when they have time left to go to practice, they go to practice.
You're not lying. And that's like if they show up to practice.
Exactly. If they're in
And
the mood to actually go to practice.
and I'd be like, we've been to some practices, Vinny, where like what? There was like 6, 7
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, exactly.
You go to practice
Exactly.
and you're sitting there, you're like, bro, how is this a practice? Like it's not a show practice, it's not anything else. It's just
Nope.
really like a 6-on-6 or a
It
5-on-5.
is. Yep.
So, all these things come into effect, man. All these things come a part of it. And Vinny and I have been a part of this. And that's why we kind of like started working together. We talked about this a long time ago, right, Vinny? Where we said, hey, we should do a podcast together. We're going to
Yeah,
talk.
yeah. It's been years that we've been talking about doing this.
Yeah, now
So
we're going to
and
just.
I'm excited. I'm excited to do this. So
Hey,
yeah,
that's why
yeah,
you're here, man. Hey, we're gonna bring in. Hopefully, we can get Bari in here, man. Hopefully, we
definitely.
can get Jamal. We can get a bunch of other players that are still playing and doing stuff around Belgium and stuff like that. But
Can definitely do that.
yo, let's get into it, man. Let's get into the general topics of the NFL right now. Right? We said we can talk some
Okay.
NFL. So,
We will. We
hey,
will.
you a big Giants fan?
I am. I am.
How do you feel about your New York Football Giants right now?
Man, the New York Football Giants. Man, I'm optimistic. The thing is, every year I'm optimistic because usually we have something to be optimistic about,
Mm-hmm.
and then the season starts and they just punch me in the gut every single time. So I hope with a new coach that I think also needed some new team to be involved with. After being a coach for 18 years with the Baltimore Ravens and very successfully, I would say. Um, I think he's the perfect coach for this type of team, young talents, a guy that has proven that he can work with different types of quarterbacks. So I think it's exactly what Jackson Dart needs. A coach that learns him how to slide and not to take the hit, which is a very important thing for a young guy like that loves to play hard. But we need him on the field. We don't need him in the blue tent every game. So I think there's a lot of things to be optimistic about. I think the free agency was probably one of the best free agencies we've had in years, um, especially for the money that we only spend for these types of players that we got. So I can only be optimistic about it now. I'm just waiting for the draft to happen and see what's going to happen there, honestly.
Hey man, you're not lying. You guys really hit a freaking home run when it came to like hitting on a coach, right? John Harbaugh has a big reputation of being a winner. He
Yep,
comes from a great family tree. He's
exactly.
obviously knows how to coach. Now, you talked about the draft, and that's the biggest thing right now, right? The draft is the next big thing. Who do you think is going to be the draft pick for New York and why?
Well, for everything I've seen right now, the biggest three players that are mentioned the most are Sonny Styles,
Like
because we
that?
need a good linebacker. We got Edmonds signed from the Bears, which was a good signing in free agency, but we need someone else because we got rid of Bobby Okereke, who wasn't performing as he was in the past. So we needed that. We need a second linebacker there, and I think Sonny Styles showed in the combine that he's very athletic for his size and for his position. So I
You ain't
think that
lying.
is probably the first choice. And other than that, Caleb Downs is also a player that has been talked about a lot. Is a safety. I think our safety room is okay, but it's also again we signed Javon Holland last year, and he didn't really perform like we expected him to perform. Who knows? Maybe he has a better year this season. We'll see. But I would be happy with both of these guys. And then the second guy that has a lot of talking, but I don't really understand why, is Love, the running back from Notre Dame.
Ooh.
I wouldn't be mad about this signing, but the thing is, we have three running backs on the roster right now that are getting all their carries every game. So I don't know if we really need it. Who knows? Maybe we do, and then we get rid of Tracy in a couple of years because he's gonna be 29 when he's up for his first contract. So it's pretty high of an age to give a first contract at 29, for especially for a running back.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe Love. I would prefer a receiver if we would go offense.
Of course.
Someone like Cardinal.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. But I would like, especially with the guys like we have guys like Jalen Hyatt that have not performed at all since they got drafted. So I would rather get another receiver in. A guy like Cardinal Tate from Ohio State that performed very well. A guy like Makai Lemon that also performed very well. So there's definitely some talent on offense there, and especially running back. I think Love is probably the best prospect in the entire draft.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
If you don't want to go for positional value, that's probably the best player out of college this year. So yeah, but I'm very excited for that. I think it's gonna be Sonny Styles if he's not taken.
Okay, man. Sonny Styles. I love the information that you gave out there. I love that you talked about having receivers, looking at the running back room, doing all that, but you're with Sonny Styles. Now, as you know, hey, man, I'm a big Raiders fan. And Fernando Mendoza is right now slated to be the number one pick. Everybody's riding with him. Then, Dan Orlovsky came out, says, hey, this guy isn't the true number one. And everybody loses their head. Well, it's crazy, man. For me, it's like this. I look at it, right, and we're going to get into it because you told me in the green room, right, or in our chat, that Kirk Cousins being signed. Lots of questions about that. Well,
Kirk go chains.
Let me fill you in on the contract, right? Everybody looked at the contract and they said, oh, my God. They looked at the big number, 5 years, $172 million, all this other. The Raiders are really only on the hook for his salary this year of $1.3 million, and they gave him a $10 million guaranteed bonus, right? So basically, they paid $11.3 million, and now the Falcons will pick up $8.7 million on his contract, which puts him at $20 million for this year. For us, we pay $11.3 for a veteran quarterback that knows Kubiak's system, that can come in and teach Fernando Mendoza. Right? So when you look at that, at $20 million for a guy, now the year two option is $80 million. Now, if he comes in here, Vinny, and he tears it up, and he fucking takes us to the playoffs or something like that, he's worth every bit of $80 million because the Raiders ain't been to the playoffs since Moses parted the sea. All right?
Exactly.
It feels that long.
True.
We ain't been in the playoffs for a while. But at the same time, if he comes in and has that type of success, I could see the Raiders really extending him because at the end of the day, success is what matters. It's like where you go, right? Everywhere we've been, the only thing that matters to every single organization is winning. Yep. They don't care about anything else. They just want to hang up trophies and they want to be the guys that are called that they're the best. And you know what? When it comes to the NFL, it's totally different because you're able to structure it in a way where the whole team is under a paycheck. And you're able to, do it there and really focus on guys. When we talk about Europe and everything else, it's hard to build that culture. It's hard to do those things because guys are not under a paycheck. Guys don't practice and don't live off football. All those things. So it's kind of two different things, right?
But do you think the Raiders are going to give him that chance to play, or are they just going to go full on Mendoza?
So what I think it's this. When you bring in a Kirk Cousins, right? You're not going to bring him in to sit on the bench. You're going to bring him in to give him the opportunity to play, to go out there and show what he's still worth. Because I'm going to tell you, you can't just go and say, hey man, this guy isn't as good because he didn't have success somewhere else. You're only as good as your coaches are. And that's the truth, right, Vinny? Like, look at it. When you talk about coaching, right? When you talk about player growth and development, that's hard in Europe because they don't have qualified coaches. They don't have full-time coaches. They have guys that are learning through YouTube, through other ways. And I mean, like here in the States, yes, we do watch YouTube. We have all those, but we have camps. We have, learning seminars where you can go learn from other coaches. Plus, I'm like, when you coach it from, youth all the way up, you start learning a lot of different things because here you have more hands-on training. It's like when you talk about football with your feet, soccer, right here in the States. Europe is head and shoulders above the United States. There's 300 million kids everywhere playing. And like,
well, we saw it last weekend when Belgium destroyed the US and in soccer. So
yeah, I mean, like, let's be real, bro. You guys have. I'd be like, I remember when people were telling me that there was kids with contracts.
I had my first contract when I was 16. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll be like, here in the States, you tell me a 16-year-old has a pro contract for soccer. I'm like, who? Like, I ain't never heard of that. But you know what I mean? So when we look at that, man, it's totally different. The structure and the way that everything is done. But I'd be like, at the end of the day, like I said, when it comes to football overseas and football in the United States, coaching has a lot to do with it. And the Raiders and both the Giants this year, I do believe, have hit on coaches. Kubiak, young gun, offensive coordinator, lots to prove, but I'd be like, everywhere that he's been, he's shown success. Harbaugh, 20 years, man, of pure success with the Ravens. The Ravens couldn't get over the hump, but I'm not going to put that on Harbaugh, bro.
No, I don't think so either.
His coaching and his play style is what maintained that team at that level for so long.
I agree. Totally agree.
So when we look at that, man, it makes a huge difference and everything like that. But hey, let's get into European football, right? Man, hey, when we talk about Belgium, let's tell these guys what it is. In Belgium, you have two divisions, right? There's the
first and
Division 1.
Division 1 and Division 2.
Division. And when you look at Division 1 and Division 2, Division 1 right now, I think is the Black Angels from Brussels, correct?
Black Angels, yeah.
You have the Turtles.
The Turtles, the Warriors, if I'm not mistaken.
From Waterloo, yeah.
Yeah. We have
Spartans.
The Spartans.
Antwerp.
They have a very good team.
Yeah, Sion's playing for them. Well, hopefully we can get Mitch and Sion and everybody.
They have a lot of the old shotgun players that went there.
They have Omi. They have. I'd be like, bro, like a lot of our old players went there.
Yep.
So I'd be like, that team is talented.
They have the Nitros, the tribes.
The Castile Nitros. Yeah. Mons. And the Mons Knights.
The Knights, yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's true. I think that's it, though.
Okay, so they have those 6 teams in the first division. Then we have in the second division we have
the Tigers, Brussels Tigers in the second division.
Brussels Tigers are in the first division too.
No, they went down to the second division.
Okay, so Brussels Tigers, because
they didn't play last year. So the Brussels Tigers are playing in Division 2. The Bruges Broncos, so my team.
Okay.
The Austin Pirates are playing in the second division. Leuven Lions.
Yeah.
And after that, who do we have?
The Mustangs.
The Mustangs, true. And the Monarchs. We just played them. We got completely destroyed by them. Yeah, the Monarchs. That's a Walloon team. and I think that's about it. I know the Bears. There's a Bears team
Arden Bears.
on them. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's about all the teams that I can think of in Belgium right now. Because there used to be another team, but they don't exist anymore. We used to have the coal miners. I don't
They
think
don't
they still
exist.
exist, and the Atomics, and that's also a team that doesn't exist anymore. I think. So that's about all the teams that I can think of.
Yeah, I think you're right. And looking at it, I mean, like it's been a drastic change. And I mean, like guys, we used to have the Limburg Shotguns who are in the second division, or I don't know if they had forfeited now too in the second
They're
division.
Yeah, they are in the second division. We're playing them this year.
Yeah.
That's true. They're still they're still there. They're in the second division. They went down. It's just completely bare. It's like I think there's only two players left from when we were there, and they were probably third stringers when we were there. So it's a completely new team with guys that I don't think have played a lot of football in their life. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't really have that much communication with those people for obvious reasons. Oh, at least obvious to you,
We'll
maybe
get
not to
into
the
those in
listeners.
later shows. Yeah, we'll get
Um,
into those in later shows.
but it is definitely something that is interesting to follow up and see what's gonna happen there.
No, absolutely. And you know what, man? There's a lot of good people. I'm not going to say that there isn't a lot of good people. There's a lot of good people out there. There's just some other people too that are in positions that you know what they're they shouldn't be. And when you
True.
look at football in Europe, man, that's the hardest thing. Is that um it's not about the growth of the game. It's more about individual organizations trying to grow themselves, and
Yep.
they'll sabotage or they'll
It's about power.
whatever it is. They'll do whatever it takes to get wins.
Yep.
And that unfortunately, you know, trickles down through all sorts of things. And we'll get into that in later shows, man. I'll be like, I don't want to like sit here and like sour everyone on the first show and be like, oh
Hell
no,
no.
like
Hell
no,
no.
you know.
We will definitely get into that in the future. We have
Yeah.
we have a lot of juicy details that we can get into.
Yeah. So when we talk about baffled, all right. So let's talk about Division One and just the competition in general. We said, hey, when you look at the competition in general, if we were to compare it here to the United States, Vinny, in your opinion, like if a player was to come over from the United States,
Yeah.
and say, hey, I'm going to go play in Europe, or I'm going to go play in Belgium, what level of football should they at least have from the United States to go over there and you believe that they can be successful?
I I've heard this on another show. I can't remember where I heard this, but I heard this somewhere, and it was by a guy that played here, and he said that Division 3 players are the perfect players to come over to Europe. And the reason is because they usually are not used to all the big infrastructure that the big teams have in the US. So they don't expect too much when they get here. So they're not culture shocked when they get here. But they still have the level of football that European teams need to get better. So I think you could probably I think the level of actual teams is very different from team to team. I think a team like the Brussels Black Angels, you can probably compare them to a decent Division 3 team in the US. But then there's teams that would completely be destroyed by Division 3 teams. It's very up and down. Every team has some good players, but there's so many teams that is you would think it's all freshmen high schoolers playing football. So it's very up and down. It depends from team to team.
So I'm going to say it like this. You at D3, I'm going to say semi-pro. Okay? Semi-pro here is like where you can play when you get out of high school.
Yeah.
And if you are a successful player in semi-pro, you could probably be a successful player in Belgium for the same facts. Because you're
Probably.
saying, hey, they don't have a bunch of the facilities. It's all self-driven. You're
Hmm.
here semi-pro, you have to work and go. So guess what? It's the same aspect when you talk about playing in Europe. You know, you
Yep.
work, you have your job, and it's almost like a secondary thing, right? Where it's not the
Hmm.
primary. So if you take that aspect, I think when you look at that, I think a semi-pro player that has high motivation, that is willing to travel and really willing to sacrifice because you don't know the situation that
Definitely.
you're going to get into, right?
Hmm.
But one of the things I will do is tell every single player or person that goes over there to make sure that all your stuff is written in your contract, to make sure that the
Everything
organization,
needs to be written down.
mhm,
Everything. Every still like
no,
in the smallest details, so they
and,
can't fuck you over.
and no talking about, hey, we're going to do this on a handshake or anything like that. The reason is because a lot of these organizations will take it advantage. Make sure
Yep.
that you have what you have written down. Because I'll be like, at the end of the day, they're trying to not give you anything. You know, they're trying to get you to come over here for free. I'll be like,
Which,
Vinny, you and I have been on teams where I have seen imports living in certain situations that you shouldn't be living in, eating
yep.
PB&J sandwiches, like
Yep.
literally living at the bottom of the barrel.
Yep.
And I've also seen it where you get treated well. Where you know what? If you go like you've been an import, Vinny, like Vinny, your whole story in Switzerland is a totally different story. You said, "Hey, man, they had a team restaurant, they had a
Yep.
location for me, they
Yeah.
had
I
all
had my
these
own
things."
apartments. Yeah. Everything was taken care of, and I had money on the side, so
Yeah,
it was
and
it was a very good experience. It was in Sweden. Yeah. It was very good. It was very good. I can't. But I know that the Nordic countries are known for taking very good care of their players. So
and that's a difference. So if
it
you're
is.
listening, man, the Nordic countries do take. I'd be like, we have our boy Bari, who's living in Finland, very
He's been
well.
playing. Yeah. He's been playing almost his entire career in the Nordic countries. I think he went for one season to Poland and one season in Belgium, and all the other ones were all in the Nordic countries. So, and he's had a very good career there.
I'd be like, we even have our boy Oscar playing in Poland right now, and he can
True.
tell us how it is to play in Poland. I have Coach Godwin who's down there in Poland. We're gonna bring all this stuff in, guys, to give you guys the insider information, so that
Oh,
way,
yeah.
you know, you don't get caught up. Because, hey, Vinny, let's be real. You and I have run into a lot of players that they got caught up.
Definitely,
You know,
definitely.
they get
There's
told
been a lot of mistreatment of people that didn't know what they got themselves into. So I think it's always hard because you don't know where you're going to and what the actual culture is where you're going to. So it's always hard as someone that doesn't really know anyone there to adjust to the entire situation. Plus taking care of a contract. It's always hard, especially if it's your first time coming over.
yeah, man, and even when like you're so inexperienced, you know, like I told people, I was like, man, I didn't know like there were so many legalities and stuff like that. Even as a
Yep.
coach that had been traveled over, like, you know, you have to have certain legal documents for your freaking stay if it's longer than 90 days,
Yep. Or you have to go back.
or you have to go back, or they'll put
Yep.
a strike on your thing. And I mean, like the team will try to convince you to stay, even though you
Yep.
don't have permission. And they'll try to get you to overextend on your visas, try to get you to do a whole bunch of right. But yo, Vinny, let me ask you this, man. Now you're playing for the Bruges Broncos right now. What's going on in Bruges, man? What's going on with the Bruges Broncos? What's
it's
cracking?
it's it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. It is. It's a tough process of building up something from the ground.
Absolutely.
I'm very proud of what Nick is doing. So Nick is the owner of the team. Um, I think he's doing a great job of building a culture and building a team that has a cohesion. But it's it's very hard because you're literally playing with maximum 25 players. So practices, you have maybe 15 people at practice, so we can never do 11 on 11 at practice. A lot of injuries, a lot of rookies, people that never played the game before. So it's very very hard to prepare for a season in these conditions. Um, and especially if you need rookies starting on defense and on offense. It's very frustrating at times because, like I said, we have some players that have experience playing abroad and at a high level. And then it's very frustrating because you get mad at these guys, but at the same time, you feel bad for getting mad at these guys because you know that it's not really their fault. But it is very frustrating because you wanna be better and you wanna do better and you wanna win games, and at the same time, like I said, I'm injured, kinda. I'm playing through the pain because I still want to play football, but it's very hard, and then seeing getting beat up like that, like we lost the last game. I think we gave up 50 points in the last game. It is very hard. I had to play offense starting full game offense. I was on every special teams, and I was in the beginning of the game I was a safety, and then I had to go back to linebacker because there was no one else to play linebacker, and I don't even weigh 200 pounds. So it was it was very hard to get beat up like that, especially if the running back weighs 250. So it was not fun. I do it to help the team, but like I said, it gets frustrated sometimes. But I still love the game. I still love doing it, but it hurts. It hurts.
And you know what, man? You call this spade. Right? It's hard because you have limited players and you go through injuries and you go through things. But I'm gonna give you some light at the end of the tunnel, right? Through all this experience, through all this growth, man, your team will only get stronger. Your team will only grow from it. And it's a growing process, right? And you that are there at the very beginning, you might not see all the championships and all the banners and everything like that being hung up, but you're paving the road for that. You are
Yeah.
literally looking at these young men, and you got to remember that when you first started, you were there too, right? But approach the day with that enthusiasm that they did. Because for them, I'm going to tell you like this: it takes a lot of courage to go out there and play this game because
It
of the
does.
physicality that it brings.
Mm-hmm.
And in Europe, this type of physicality isn't normal. Like, they are very finesse. So when you're teaching this game, just go out there, man, and just enjoy every moment because at the end of the day, it's going to pass you by. And you know what? If you're worried about all the wins and the losses, they're going to accumulate. Trophies will collect dust. Things will collect dust.
Yep.
But the memories you make with those people, the memories I've made with you, the memories I've made with Laurie, the memories I've made with every single coach and every single player, those are the things that are worth it, man. Those are the things that
It
make
is.
this game beautiful to me because I've been able to experience this game through the whole world and experience different cultures and things like that. So I would just tell you, man, that you guys are going to build something special. The thing is, sometimes it takes um, more than 1 year, more than 2 years. It takes a
Yep.
plan. And it's hard because you guys are just not just players. You guys are coaches. Some of you are playing out of position.
Yep.
Some of you are just filling in to fill in because you guys love this game. You guys just want
Exactly.
to play.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, man, remember that and remember that you're going to get there. And remember that, hey, man, you know what? I'm laying the foundation for the future of football here in Belgium because that's what I see. And that's what I always told you guys. When I wanted
Yep.
to go over there, is to build the future for football in Belgium because it's not about us in this generation. It's about the future generations like your son taking advantage of this and playing this game and maybe being able to take it somewhere and do something with it. Right?
It would be perfect. I hope that's my biggest dream, if that my son could could be playing football here and then maybe go to college in the US or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where, like, people see this game as an opportunity. And that's what I love about this game. And that's why, we talk about it and now we're bringing it worldwide. We're trying to get some attention to it so people can go out there and see it, man. If you
Yeah.
guys have the opportunity and you guys are listening to this podcast, please, man, try to support these other leagues around the world. These guys are out there grinding. I got my boy Vinny, man. He's living proof. I'm telling you, my man has had multiple surgeries. He's out there just trying to play the game because he loves the game. And support these teams, man. Support these organizations. I hope we can get Nick on here, man, so he can talk to us about building an organization.
I'm pretty sure we can definitely get that.
We'll get Nick on here. We'll get all sorts of people, and the things that they're going to see in the future in this podcast. Vinny, let them know what you hope to bring to the podcast and what you hope to bring on the future here.
I think we could definitely talk about a lot of the leagues. Specifically, like we could probably zoom in on some of the important leagues in Europe, and then maybe the bigger intercontinental league that they have, which kind of changed already in the last year because we had the ELF before, and now it's split up into 2, 3 different leagues. So I
Yep.
think that's also a very interesting thing to look at, especially for Americans. Um, I want to talk a lot of NFL shit,
We will.
especially the Giants and the Raiders. Especially during the season, it's probably going to be very interesting to talk about certain things that will probably happen that we both won't like. I already know. Um, so those are most of the things that I like, and I would definitely want to get guys in, like you said, that have come over from the US and played here. Guys from other countries that played in different countries in Europe, even. I think it's very interesting hearing stories from a lot of different perspectives. And I think people can learn from that and especially kind of get information before they get here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, man, it's just like Vinny said. We're going to bring you guys from all over the league. We're going to give you guys inside looks on, hey, the AFL, I think it's called now, and the EFL.
Yeah, something like that.
You
I don't
know,
even know.
we'll bring you guys inside looks to the German league, to the Finnish league, everything like that. Everything that we can possibly bring you, we're going to try to bring you guys. We're going to talk NFL. We're going to talk football Europe. We're going to talk football everywhere because football is going on right now. I'll be like, right now, it's the off season for the NFL,
But Europe is booming.
but Europe is booming. So we're going to bring you guys all that. Vinny and I are going to be working on bringing you guys interviews from players, coaches, GMs, everything. So that way you guys get an inside look on what it is, what to expect. I'll be like, and hopefully, man, I will be linking up with Vinny one of these days soon to do one in live. So that way we can do
So
and get
that would be
together.
very cool. That would be very cool. I'm actually gonna be very well technically way closer to you this summer because I'm going on vacation to Aruba with my girlfriend. So
Oh my
it's
man.
closer. It's not the US yet, but it's closer.
We're getting close. We're getting
We're
close.
getting close. We're getting close.
Yes, sir. Hey, Vinny, you got anything for our listeners or any final thoughts, man?
I just hope that this first podcast kind of makes people want to follow this and see what we're going to talk about and maybe inspire people to come on the podcast because that's mostly what we want to do is invite people to talk about how they feel about football in Europe. And I think that's a thing that needs to be promoted more to grow the game more in Europe. So I think that's the biggest thing that I want out of this is to invite people to come on this show and talk about football. That's my biggest thing.
Hey, I'm right there with them. Guys, if you are out there, our goal is to get you on here. If you're in Europe, hey, Bari, we're going to try to get you. We got our boy Oscar. We got Garland Campbell. We're going to try to get all these guys to get on the podcast and talk to you guys and let you guys know what it is to be playing football in Europe. If you guys have an opportunity to go over there and grow the game, go and grow it. Don't go over there thinking that you're going to be a superstar or a megastar and get paid millions of dollars. Because, guys, it's not factual.
No.
But we're going to keep
definitely not going to get rich out of it.
Yeah, we're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it 100 here, man. And then until next time, y'all stay safe, stay listening. We hope you stay locked in. Hey, the Vinny and Wil Show, Football International. We out, baby.
God bless.